Hello, and welcome to the Brownsville Story, a story where we believe in our community, we believe in our school district, and most importantly, we believe in our kids. Come on in. 4 years ago, in February of 2017, on a dreary Western Pennsylvania day, I was on my way to my first interview for the superintendent's position of Brownsville Area School District. As I came down into downtown Brownsville and stopped at the red light, I noticed the vacant buildings all boarded up, graffiti everywhere, and very desolate looking area. And I thought to myself, to be honest, what are you doing? As I started to venture up High Street and made a left on Brashear and moved into the district's campus, my eyes were open. It was at that point that I realized that any revitalization of Brownsville had to come from its greatest resource. And its greatest resource are the young men and women that are walking in the hallways of our school district. Our first community endeavor was to revamp our Student in Actions team. To carry on with the first Students in Action team had already started by the creation of the amphitheater in the heart of downtown Brownsville. A new cohort of students were implemented into the program along with 2 new advisors. They embarked upon a $400,000 project to create a teen space in our public library downtown.
While the Students in Action team was busy downtown, the Future is Mine team was busy working with the Benham and Grable Foundations to design a future-ready center. The Future is Mine team created a beautiful space where our students can connect with local businesses, colleges, and trade schools.
Our next connection with the kids in the community was the Perennial Project. Our students in our activities and clubs and athletics partnered with the Perennial Project to plant flowers, spread mulch, pull weeds, in the beautification effort of the downtown area in Brownsville. This is something that has been sustainable and is now in its 3rd year and continues to be a positive impact on our community.
Through the relationship with the Perennial Project, we embarked upon the Portals Project. This project has teachers and students working with the University of Pittsburgh and Epic Games to recreate the old Union Station building using virtual reality software. When the project is finished, you'll be able to walk through the old Union Station building virtually and experience it just like it was in its heyday. Earlier in the school year, we had 2 students with great courage approach us and share a PowerPoint presentation to describe their experience moving through the K-12 educational system in the Brownsville Area School District. Inspired by both of these girls and the story they shared with us, the district decided to develop a district-wide diversity team comprised of teachers, administrators, board members, and students. The charge of this diversity team is to check the curriculum to ensure that we have a spiral and logical progression of diversity lessons K-12. We are also offering a new elective for 8th graders through which students will explore human diversity and gain an appreciation and respect for the differences among us.
I hope you enjoy the stories of our students, our alumni, and our community members who are making a positive impact in connecting our school district to the community for the benefit of revitalizing our great town of Brownsville. Thank you.
So my name is Jaden Harvey, and I'm a kid from Brownsville, Pennsylvania. It's one of the least advantaged towns and one of the least advantaged counties in the Commonwealth. I grew up riding down these streets on the way to school. I remember once when I was in middle school, my mom was driving me. We were heading down this street here, and she said there was a group of kids that was trying to tear down a row of broken down storefronts. She said that they were going to try to make a difference. I'd seen businesses grow and fall. I'd seen things spoken about in a very positive way, but that don't really come through to fruition. When I was in high school, I was a shy kid. I knew that I needed to join some kind of group. I needed to get involved in my community somehow. And so eventually I tried joining that same group of high school students that I've heard about a few years prior. I remember standing outside the high school classroom where they were all meeting after class. I walked inside and almost immediately I heard their story and their goals and what they were trying to do. I heard about how there was a group of kids who were just riding their bikes around town and, found a spot that they thought would be perfect for community gatherings. But more than that, I heard that they had gotten support of a few key teachers, key community members, people who thought this could actually make a difference. I saw what they were planning, I saw what they had in mind, and I thought this could actually be something that happens. This could be something that really makes a difference downtown. I was excited to join, and after a few years of hard work, a lot of fundraising, about $300,000 later, we had something to show for it. We had sat through numerous zoning board meetings trying to get the permits to the land. We've hosted dozens of fundraiser events, everything from bake sales to live concerts, to try to build up the funds to be able to put something like this together. And then by my senior year, I was able to see the grand opening of a new park and amphitheater in downtown Brownsville, a place that I'd come to care about really deeply. Wow. So groundbreaking came, grand opening came, and across the street there was construction. There was a new building going up to provide housing for those in need. There was going to be a new restaurant, a new bakery, a new deli, all located along this brand new park that we had built. That event, you know, it was a nice day. Everybody was there, everybody who had helped us. I got to see all the different local representatives, friends and family, all my teammates from the Students in Action, everybody who helped make this possible. And we were all there to celebrate something really important and really impactful for our community. A hero of mine once said, each time a man stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. In crossing each other, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. And that day, on that opening day, I felt all those ripples working in unison. There was no longer a row of dilapidated buildings in downtown Brownsville. There was a new park and amphitheater. The ripples had washed those other things away. I felt that Brownsville had grown, and with it, so have I. I've come to believe in myself and my friends, my family, the teammates and Students in Action that I have, because I've seen all the work that we can do, and I've seen what we've been able to accomplish. So I'm proud to say that I'm a kid from Brownsville, and I'm proud of what we've done and what we're going to continue to do.
I'm Norma Ryan. I'm a lifelong resident here in Brownsville. It's a town that I love, a town that has some very rich history that has really captured my heart. Our town has survived in the 1800s when we were part of the westward expansion, and the Conestoga wagons and pioneers coming through, traveling west, came through Brownsville. And here they had a choice. They could buy a boat and go up the Monongahela River to the Ohio River and points west, or they could cross over the river on a ferry and continue on their Conestoga wagons going west. And that era lasted. We call it the westward expansion era, and it lasted to the mid-1800s when we were blessed with the railroad. When the railroad came, it was much easier to transport wares west, and the town went into a decline. Then in the early 1900s, the town was truly booming. That was an era we call the industrial era. It was the era when coal became king in our area. I was born in the early 1900s, 1930-ish, and my growing up years was just phenomenal. Walking downtown with my parents and my brothers to a town that was bustling with people. The sidewalks were just covered with people visiting and shopping in our downtown, because all the surrounding coal patch towns came to Brownsville. We were like the mecca of shopping. And it was such an exciting time to grow up during that era. But then again, World War II ended, malls started being built in the area, employment was down, and I lived through that decline that was a little tough to deal with. Losing friends that you've been friends with forever, moving out somewhere for different employment. And it was a little tough time to go through, but we survived. I didn't leave. I stayed here with my family. And also it was a time when I was able to raised 3 kids, educated right here in Brownsville High School. When their secondary education was done, they left because for employment. But I stayed. And so many of us sat around and said, what is happening? The town is becoming desolate. Businesses are leaving. Buildings are being closed. What are we going to do? We talked a lot about believing in our future and what can we do. And we were very fortunate. In 1989, an organization originated that sent developers into all these communities along the Monongahela River. It was called the Mon Valley Initiative. And they taught us how to search for what is your community, what story does your community have to tell? What can you do to help? And in Brownsville, we formed something called Brownsville Area Revitalization Corporation and formed a board. It was a 501c3 community development corporation. And we worked for at least 30 years of writing grants, renovating buildings, trying to bring businesses into the community. We worked with developing recreation in our parking lot, having events, and every time we had an event, we had to rent a stage. And we didn't give up. I guess we just kept trying to believe in our future. Well, not until 6 students from this high school established something called Students in Action. That was truly the jump start in our town. Once those students talked about building a stage, a much needed stage in our downtown, and the ability to raise $400,000 to build a stage, oh my goodness, that excitement was so catchy. That's when the community really came together, because how can you turn your back on young people believing? Soon after that stage went in, we had an investor come in and built 24 apartments in our downtown, right across from the stage. And it's totally filled, brought people to our community. We had some investors come in with private monies, buy some buildings, bring business, move here, and action was really taking place. In last year, even during the pandemic, our Chamber of Commerce was able to have 12 ribbon cutting ceremonies for new businesses. That is phenomenal. And in my opinion, this was all originated by our students who believe in our future. And when young people believe in our future, we all jump on board and believe with them. We are so blessed to have this connection with our school district and our downtown community. We're looking forward to a bright future.
Hi, my name is Becca Ullery, and this is my story. It was my sophomore year in high school. I was shy, quiet, and really didn't talk that much. However, I did have one thing going for me. I was a Brownsville native. I lived here my entire life, and so did my dad. So if that tells you anything, it tells you that being a Brownsville native is in my blood. Even though at the time I was shy and quiet, and I was one of the youngest members in my grade, I did have a passion for wanting to make my town a better place. At the time, Brownsville was at the cusp of change. There was hope being restored after years of being lost. Momentum was building. There was a group in my school that saw the same potential in Brownsville as I did. They were trying to bring back the pride and magic that had been lost over the years. The group is called Students in Action, and the name speaks for itself. Students in Action. I heard it was a student-driven group that focused on making their town a better place. Around October of my sophomore year, they were looking for 2 new members after the 2 past members have graduated. And they thought that the best way to do that was to present in front of the entire sophomore class in the auditorium. The group consisted of 2 sponsors and other fellow students who believed in the power that they had to make Brownsville a better place. Their goal was to change the negative name attached to Brownsville and to turn it into a positive and make it a strength to be the catalyst that the town needed. After hearing how the group of students designed and executed their last project, I was left with nothing but inspiration and passion to do the exact same and to make my town a better place, just as they did. After going through the recruitment process, I found out that I was one of the 2 members that were selected to be on the Students in Action team. I was ecstatic that I was chosen to help make Brownsville a better place. Over the last few years, the group and I have been working on our Teen Space project. It is a place where students can go after school to have a safe place to work on their homework or just hang out. This space will not only serve as a hub of information, but it'll serve as a hub for the community to bring back the pride that was once lost. During this project, I was able to conduct research on how to maximize the productivity of the space and that would make it most appealing to the students and that would make them want to actually use it. I got to work with Terry McMillan of Terry McMillan Engineering on how to make this space architecturally best served. During my time on the project, I've not only grown as a student, but as a person. I owe all of that to the fact that I had sponsors, administrators, and fellow students who believed in the power that I had to help change my community for the better. With being a member of the Students in Action team, I have broken out of the shell of my sophomore self who is once shy and quiet and have blossomed into someone who is able to speak their mind. And now I am able to speak in front of conferences of fellow peers, state representatives, and a groundbreaking ceremony of our Teen Space project. And I owe that fact all to our sponsors, our administrators and faculty, and the fellow students who believed in the power that I had to change my community for the better. Students in Action has given me hope for the future, hope for Brownsville itself, and hope in the fact that we can believe in each other to make the town a better place. I believe that the groups of students behind me will help keep the momentum going to bring Brownsville back.
Hi, my name is Talia Delarose, and this is my story. During my freshman year, I became involved with a club called The Future Is Mine. Mrs. Jalotz, my French teacher and the Future Is Mine club sponsor, encouraged me to join her club. She told me that the club's goals were to get students involved in the community and encourage student leadership and initiative. As a freshman, I was really looking for something to be a part of and a way to make a change, so I joined the club. At the start of my sophomore year, the fall of 2018, we had our project idea, a Future Ready Center. Our center would provide students with the resources that they need to succeed in their future endeavors, whether they attend a technical school, college, the military, or go straight into the workforce. Our space would have something for everyone. Our plan was to transform our rarely used and out-of-date middle school library into a welcoming and collaborative workspace that could be used by all of our students. First, we visited several other high schools to find inspiration in the centers that they had built. After creating a project plan, we presented our idea to our school board. With the school board's approval, we were ready to move forward with constructing our center. We visited Urban Design and Architecture and Design Studio. Their associates helped us create the design and layout for our center. Following that meeting, we reached out to a local construction company to help us remodel the library to better fit our vision for the space. A few other students and I then presented our project plan and our layout design to several companies and foundations to ask for grants and donations. We received large technological donations as well as furniture donations and a $50,000 cash grant. Our club wanted the Future Ready Center to reflect all of the students at Brownsville. We reached out to our VOTEC students in the masonry program to build our fireplace and our manufacturing technology class to build our day bench and the coffee bar, which is going to be run by our life skills students. The cleaning out and construction of our center was finally completed for the start of my senior year. We had our ribbon cutting ceremony on October 22nd of 2020. When I walked into the completed center, I didn't recognize it. What we created reflected the student body, from the day bench to the coffee bar to the artwork to the fireplace. It was all made or designed by us, the students. Our center reflected the belief we had in ourselves and the belief that others had in us to accomplish everything we set out to do. As a graduating senior, I will not get to use the center, but I am grateful to have been a part of such a significant change taking place in my school community, because now every student will have the opportunity to utilize its resources and be better for it.
Hi, my name's Ashton Raposky. I'm a senior at Brownsville Area High School, and through the course of my high school career, I've been involved in the Perennial Project. One of the main goals of the Perennial Project is to bridge the gap between the school and the community. This goal was successfully reached at the first ever Perennial Project cleanup. The organization promoted the project to Brownsville High School's club and sports sponsors. They decided that it would be a good idea for the students to give back to the community of which they are from. In addition to that, it would help them complete their community service hours. Then, at the first ever Perennial Project cleanup, there was a huge turnout. Students, a part of the football, basketball, cross country, and track and field teams showed up, as well as students from the Environmental Club, Interact Club, and the Students in Action team. Each group at the high school was assigned a specific area. For example, the Students in Action team was given the stage area to keep clean. This was the Students in Action team's project to help bridge the gap between the school and the community as well. In addition to that, the Environmental Club was assigned the flower garden up by Napa. The clubs and the sports teams were told that they were responsible for these specific areas and that it was their job to keep them clean. This way, the town of Brownsville would continue to look beautiful. The Perennial Project instilled a sense of responsibility and selflessness to the students at Brownsville. The students are in charge of keeping their area clean by volunteering their time and efforts. This allows them to engage and interact with community members and other people. Some of those people have lived through Brownsville's peak and are working to bring that upkept town back to life, and others have only known the negatives of Brownsville. Either way, the Perennial Project is a great outlet for the students to give back to their community. What is particularly special about this project is that it's ongoing. Students from many generations will be able to work to clean up their town alongside community members and leaders to bring it back to life. In the few years that it has been implemented, the project has made the town of Brownsville grow so much. From the demolition of old buildings, the cleaning of creeks, riverbanks, and roadways, to the planting of flower gardens, there is so much excitement starting to happen. There is even a current project to get the Union Station building back up and running, which will bring many new businesses to the town. We hope and pray that over time, with the help and efforts of the students, community members, and Perennial Project organizers, Brownsville will be a bustling little town again, allowing for generations of people to come and live or to visit and simply love and enjoy our little community.
Hi, my name is Royana Lewis and I'm here to tell my story. I'm a young African-American woman from Brownsville, Pennsylvania. I've been attending Brownsville Area School District since the age of 6. As a child, I was very ignorant to the fact of racism and what racism is and how it could actually take part in the community. Most black people in my school, or black students, were very much kind of silenced on what we can talk about or what we can speak about. We were only put on spot when someone else that was not of color gave us a spotlight to speak. Otherwise, we were labeled and overlooked. Throughout my years of high school or even elementary school, I've never really got to celebrate Black History Month as a whole. It was either my black fellow students or every other student in our school that had to teach each other on what Black history was or what it actually meant. But we could only do that when we got the time to. I feel that I want our voices to be heard and I refuse to be silenced. For example, this year I took it upon myself to make a PowerPoint on why racism is not okay and why racism should not be normalized. I've also made a valid point on why Black history should be celebrated and why it is important. After the superintendent received our PowerPoint and received the message I sent to him, he gladly responded to what I sent to him, and he told me that he was ready for him and his team to work together on putting a diversity team together. He reached out to me 3 days later with some very good news. I was so excited and happy. He told me how he understood my points and how him and his team are ready to come together to create a diversity team. I was so shocked to hear this news. My school is actually going to incorporate a mandatory diversity class, not on just Black history, but all type of different parts of diversity. There are also going to be other events in our school that's going to educate kids on the general hospitality and respect for Black people and other people in our school. I'm a senior and I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing this for my fellow Black students and the students coming up. I want us all to be able to understand each other and have a mutual understanding on why we should all treat each other with respect. I felt as though it was not my responsibility or other Black students' responsibility to teach each other on Black history. All American history is Black history. And when I'm gone, I would love to see everyone else that comes up after me to take part in these different diversity activities and help everyone come together and understand each other.
Hi, my name is Keena Thomas, and I'm here to tell my story. Ever since I can remember, I've always been different. Growing up, I've always tried to look past my differences. I always tried to be like the people around me. Even to this day, I try to look past these differences. One of which isn't supposed to be looked past, but embraced. It's the color of my skin. I'm a biracial individual who grew up trying to be like both sides. I found myself trying to act like something I'm not. I spent my whole life struggling with my racial identity. I struggled really hard with this, and it still affects me today, but I'm trying every way to look past it and to embrace both sides and to be who I am. But growing up, I've always tried to joke and set it aside and kind of just try to forget about it, try to just not embrace who I am. But one problem was I always had to bite my tongue and find ways to not react to how certain people acted and certain things that people did. But learning my history, Black history, I became well aware of the societal issues and pressures that were affecting people of color. I started to speak out to my peers, speak out to members of my community, anyone that would listen. I made myself very present and my voice very present within the classroom, with everyone. I tried very hard to push everything that I thought and I felt to get my voice across. I have endured being silent for too long. While using my voice to speak out against injustice, I also had to step back and make a realization that one voice can only do so much, and many voices can do a lot more. Now, the school has created a wonderful group solely dedicated to the diversification of our school, our teaching, and our community. Working together, we plan on making our school a better place. A place where we can feel comfortable and we can feel that we're being taught everything about our own histories and everything in that light. The group is currently working on broadening the school's teachings, ensuring that people like me never feel shorthanded about learning about their history and learning about certain societal issues that are going on today. Alongside me and another student, we have a group of teachers, guidance counselors, and administrators working extremely hard behind the scenes to create a better learning experience for everyone at Brownsville. This only happened because I believed in me, my school believed in me, and my school believes in our community. They believe that all students of Brownsville can achieve amazing things. This is what led me to where I am now. My voice and my aspiration for change has helped me bring light to a dim situation. The school took my match and set it ablaze to light a much brighter future for Brownsville.